He slept perfectly in his 40s, 8 hours, solid, woke up rested. By his early 60s, something had changed. He would fall asleep easily enough, usually within 20 minutes. But at 3 in the morning, he was wide awake every night, without an alarm, without a noise, just suddenly completely awake. He thought it was stress. He thought it was age. He thought it was just what sleep becomes when you get older. His doctor mentioned something he had never considered. What are you doing in the evenings? Not with your schedule, with your food and drink. If you are over 60 and you are waking up in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, unable to get back to sleep, this video is for you. Because there is a connection between specific evening foods and drinks and exactly this kind of middle of the night waking that almost no one explains to seniors. And the most common culprit is something millions of older adults consume specifically because they think it helps them relax. By the end of this video, you will understand why sleep changes after 60, which specific foods and drinks disrupt the architecture of your sleep, and the practical evening habits that help protect the quality of rest your body genuinely needs. First, something important to understand about sleep after 60. The waking at 3 problem is not purely imaginary, and it is not weakness. It reflects a real change in how the aging brain cycles through sleep. Sleep happens in stages, cycling through light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep, the stage associated with dreaming, memory consolidation, and emotional processing. After 60, the proportion of deep sleep your brain produces each night naturally decreases. You spend more time in lighter sleep stages, which means you are easier to wake by noise, by temperature, by an internal signal from your own body. This is normal. It does not mean something is wrong with you, but it does mean that your sleep is more fragile than it was, and that anything that disrupts your sleep architecture from the outside, including your dinner and your evening drink, hits harder than it would have at 45. Here is the finding that I want you to really sit with. Alcohol helps you fall asleep. That is true. That is real. That is why so many people over 60 have a glass of wine or a drink in the evening. It feels like it is helping. And in the first part of the night, it does something that feels like sleep. But here is what the research consistently shows. While alcohol gets you to sleep faster, it systematically dismantles the quality of sleep you get. Multiple peer-reviewed studies and systematic reviews have found that alcohol suppresses REM sleep, the most restorative stage, particularly in the second half of the night. As your body metabolizes the alcohol during the night, it interferes with the neurotransmitters that regulate sleep and wakefulness. This causes lighter, more fragmented sleep and frequent awakenings, especially in the second half of the night when blood alcohol levels begin to drop. 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. That is the alcohol withdrawal rebound, not from alcoholism, just from a glass of wine at dinner, waking you up exactly when your lightest sleep stage arrives. And crucially, this effect is worse in older adults. Age-related changes in metabolism, sleep architecture, and increased nighttime trips to the bathroom intensify the late-night rebound effects of alcohol, resulting in more fragmented sleep and awakenings in older adults specifically. A 2024 systematic review covering 27 studies confirmed that even low doses of alcohol, approximately 2 standard drinks, reduce REM sleep duration in a dose-dependent manner. 2 drinks, not 5, not a party. 2, I want to be clear here. This is for educational purposes only. If sleep problems are significantly affecting your daily life or well-being, please speak with your doctor. There are many causes of poor sleep in older adults, and a medical evaluation is the right starting point. What I'm covering here is the food and drink piece, the part your doctor may not have had time to discuss with you. And there are two more evening habits worth knowing about that the research links to disrupted sleep after 60. There is a second evening habit the research links to disrupted sleep, and this one is not about what you drink. It is the timing and size of your evening meal. Here is something most people do not know about digestion and sleep. Your digestive system slows by as much as 50% when you sleep. This means that a large, heavy meal eaten close to bedtime is still actively being digested while your body is trying to rest. That digestive work raises your core body temperature slightly, keeps your metabolism elevated, and can cause discomfort, heartburn, or acid reflux, all of which fragment sleep. High fat and high protein meals are the biggest culprits here. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that low fiber, high fat diets are associated with lighter, less restorative sleep with more nighttime arousals. This does not mean you should skip dinner. It means the gap between your last large meal and your bedtime matters. Aim for at least 2 to 3 hours between a substantial dinner and sleep. If your schedule makes that difficult, shift your largest meal earlier in the day and keep the evening meal lighter. And there is one more. Something most people have genuinely never heard of. Certain foods contain a compound called tyramine. Tyramine is an amino acid that triggers the release of norepinephrine, a stimulant neurotransmitter that increases brain activity and raises blood pressure and heart rate. For most people, eating these foods at lunch or earlier, it is not a problem. In the evening, close to sleep, it can contribute to difficulty staying asleep. The foods highest in tyramine are not junk food. They are things many seniors eat because they are considered healthy or because they are convenient for an evening meal. Aged cheeses cheddar, parmesan, blue cheese, camembert, cured and smoked meats salami, pepperoni, smoked salmon, jerky, fermented foods sauerkraut, kimchi, soy sauce, and certain vegetables, tomatoes, and eggplants specifically contain meaningful amounts of tyramine. This does not mean these foods are bad for you. It means if you are having consistent trouble sleeping through the night, the timing of when you eat them is worth examining. Moving them to lunch or earlier in the day removes the sleep timing variable without giving up any of the nutrition. Now, here is the part that matters as much as the warnings. There are foods and habits that research consistently links to better sleep quality in older adults. Tryptophan-rich foods in the evening. Tryptophan is an amino acid your body uses to produce melatonin, the hormone that signals your brain it is time to sleep. Good tryptophan sources for an evening meal or snack include turkey, chicken, fish, eggs, dairy like warm milk or yogurt, and walnuts. Having a small amount of complex carbohydrate alongside these foods, a little oatmeal, a piece of whole grain toast, or a banana may help your body make better use of the tryptophan, and many people find this combination genuinely settles the evening well. Tart cherries and tart cherry juice are worth a specific mention. They are one of the few whole foods with a natural, meaningful concentration of melatonin, and small studies have found that tart cherry juice modestly improves sleep duration in older adults. The effect is not dramatic, but it is real and it is food-based. And simply eating dinner earlier, giving your digestive system 2 to 3 hours to settle before you try to sleep, is one of the highest impact, zero cost changes available to you. Here is the one sentence that matters most from this video. After 60, your sleep is lighter and more fragile than it was, which means alcohol in the evening, heavy late meals, and high tyramine foods close to bedtime can disrupt your sleep architecture in ways they never did before. The practical changes are three. Reduce or eliminate alcohol in the evening, especially if you are waking between 2 and 4 in the morning. Eat your last large meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed and keep it lighter in fat and protein if it is close to bedtime. If aged cheeses, cured meats, or tomato based dishes are regular dinner features and sleep has been a problem, shift them to lunch and see what changes. You are not imagining the sleep problems. And you are not simply old. The same glass of wine that was harmless at 45 hits a different body at 68. The information about that change just never reached you. Now it has. That is what this channel is here for every week. Not fear, just the specific truth your doctor didn't have time to explain. If this helped you today, subscribe. Every week, I bring you one thing that makes your good health decisions even better. Before you go, we have now spent 9 videos covering what happens when food affects your medication, your muscles, your brain, and your sleep. Next week, I am covering something most seniors hear so often they have stopped listening to it: that eggs raise your cholesterol. That advice shaped how an entire generation of older adults eats breakfast. And the current evidence says something very different. Different enough that your doctor may now be telling you the opposite of what they said 10 years ago. That is next week. Don't miss it.